The Championship relegation battle is absolutely mental. With 2 games to go, there are still 8 sides which are caught in the mix, and me as a Preston fan right now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting pretty nervous. After all those fixtures that we've had in the Championship today, we're here to digest this relegation battle. I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below if you support any of these sides, how are you feeling right now, and if you're a neutral, who do you think are the 3 that ultimately are going to go down this season? Let's just jump into it. So after all the bonkers results that we've had over this Easter weekend, this is how the Championship table is now looking, and we can officially sort of draw a line under Portsmouth as the cut-off for safety. What's crazy about these results, especially on Monday, is that even Stoke, who are on 50 points right now, aren't completely over the line. There is still a few permutations that could happen, which could see a Championship club being relegated with 50 points this season. I think what we're looking at right now is teams are probably looking to strive to that 51 point mark to go ahead and guarantee that you're going to get over the line this season. Before, I was working out a few permutations for my club, Preston North End, and the sort of worst case scenario that could see us being relegated, and it is still possible if North End lose our last 2 games of the season. I mean, we've been in absolutely tragic form. We just lost to Hull, before that we lost to QPR. We could still be relegated with 49 points, and even to some of the clubs that could finish on 50 points, there's a chance that they could still go down. Say, for example, Preston, let's say we beat Bristol City on the final day of the season. That would then see Oxford being relegated on 50 points. Let's say, for example, that Oxford grab a point on the last day against Swansea. That would see Stoke being relegated on 50 points. There are just so many permutations right now that could see all of these sides finishing in the bottom 3. So we'll go through some of the most important results from this Monday and how it sort of leaves the relegation picture looking. First up, we had this Cardiff 1, Oxford 1 game, and that is an absolute dagger to Cardiff's survival hopes, because for the majority of this game they did look like the side who were in the ascendancy. Obviously they grabbed the lead in the 56th minute, but what a strike it was from Cameron Brannigan to get Oxford back into that game, and just how decisive could that goal be come the end of the season for both Cardiff and Oxford. Because realistically now, if we are looking at the Championship table, Cardiff are requiring 2 wins from their last 2 games to stand any sort of chance of survival, and even that might not be good enough. There's still a very good chance that you probably do get relegated even if you finish on 49 points, especially with Cardiff's goal difference, which is obviously going to be such a crucial factor with how close all these sides are going to be come game week 46. Cardiff obviously made the bold decision over the Easter weekend to part company with Omar Reitzer, probably a decision that Cardiff fans thought came a little bit too late. I thought his post-match interview after they just lost against Sheffield United was very bizarre, and to be honest, even leading up to that game there were some really weird comments that had been made in the press. Not beating Oxford in this game though, that could turn out to be the final nail in the coffin there. They need to win their last 2 matches. Hull managed to take a huge step towards safety and really dragged Preston into this relegation scrap with their 2-1 win over us. Once again it was North End taking the lead, but we've had such a tendency this season to get ourselves into a good position, start the first half quite well, and then second half we just completely fall apart. It was exactly the same on Good Friday against QPR. Have to admit, and I think Hull fans would admit as well, the first penalty they were given, incredibly soft. I don't think it was a penalty. Second one, can't have that many complaints about it, but they dug in well, and I mean, Hull season haven't been particularly great at home, but that result there could turn out to be absolutely massive for them, especially when you consider that Hull's next game is up against Derby at home as well, and yeah, that could have huge implications, not just for Hull and Derby, but the sides around them as well. The bad news for Stoke fans is that, I mean, before we were talking about them probably being safe on 50 points, but their goal difference took an absolute battering in this game against Leeds. The advantage that Stoke have right now is there is a lot of traffic between themselves and the bottom 3, and so obviously it would take them to lose their final 2 matches of the season for them to be relegated, but there is an eventuality in which that could happen if all of the results possible go against them and they lose their last 2 matches. Stoke could still be relegated with 50 points, albeit that's probably quite unlikely right now. Luton's win against Bristol City is absolutely massive. It means that they've now lost only 1 of their last 8 matches. They're not a team that I'd want to be facing right now. They're at home next week as well against Coventry. Listen, that's a very tough game, but Coventry on the road haven't exactly been firing on all cylinders recently. I mean, we'll get to talking about them in a minute, and Luton, if they're fully fired up for it, you'd probably fancy them for a result in that game, wouldn't you? Now, Plymouth have the most to do of any Championship club between now and the end of the season, but they're still in the mix with 2 games to go. I did have a feeling that they would pick up a result in this game against Coventry. I think I had it predicted for a 2-1 Plymouth win. In the end, they scored a goal more than I thought, but 3 points all the same. And next up, Plymouth travel away to Deepdale to face Preston, one of the most out-of-form teams in the Championship right now. I know that Plymouth haven't been great value for money in away games this season, but with everything on the line, they're just going to throw everything at North End, and with how weak our mentality has been in recent weeks, I wouldn't put it past them from getting a result at Deepdale. That's all I'll say for the time being. Obviously, elephant in the room, Plymouth do then have to play Leeds United on the final day of the season. I mean, which version of Leeds shows up for that game? I'm not so sure. They may be, fully on the beach, or they might, be taking it quite seriously and trying to win the title. But Plymouth need 2 wins from 2. Realistically, the only 2 sides that Plymouth could now finish above that are currently outside of the relegation zone are Hull and Derby, and it's obviously worth mentioning that those 2 do play each other next week, so at least one of them will be picking up at least, one more point this season. They can't both lose all of their remaining matches, so that's worth taking into consideration. Technically, they can still catch up to Oxford, but there'd need to be such a big swing in the goal difference that I just don't see that happening. I will also give a quick mention to Portsmouth as well, who have secured their safety with that 1-0 triumph over Watford. It's really been their home form this season that they've fallen back on, but yeah, fantastic result for them. Colby Bishop with another goal in that one to round off all 3 points. Richly deserved for Pompey. And then we had this game at the Hawthorns. Derby going away to West Brom and winning 3-1. West Brom, I mean, they've tended to be quite decent at the Hawthorns actually, but right now, they're probably one of the #1 clubs that teams in and around the relegation zone want to be facing. And funnily enough, West Brom could have such a crucial role in who goes down this season because of their remaining fixtures. In West Brom's last 2 games of the season, they travel away to Cardiff and then they face Luton on the final day of the season. I mean, if they play like they have done recently, I wouldn't be that surprised if this is 2 losses for West Brom. Cardiff beat them in that one and then Luton beat them on the final day of the season. So how do I see this relegation battle sort of playing out in these last 2 matches? Well, realistically, I do think that Plymouth and Cardiff probably do go down from this stage. They both need to be flawless in their last 2 matches, and they both need quite a few results to go their way as well. I think they'll both give a good stab at it, but I think they both probably will be relegated. This last relegation spot here, though, oh my God, I really don't know how to call it. Because based off current form and gut feeling, I think Luton might survive, I really do. I think there's a reasonable chance that Luton pick up at least 4 points from their last 2 matches. That would put them up to 50. But then who else goes down out of all of these sides? I really don't know at the moment. It feels like next weekend, that head-to-head game between Hull and Derby is probably the biggest game going on in the Championship because of all the implications that that could have for both of these sides, but everyone around them as well. As a North End fan, I just want this season over and done with as quickly as possible, really. 1 more win will do it for us, but I'm not fancying our chances at the moment. Guys, I would love to hear your take on all of this in the comments down below. What did you make of your team's performance over this Easter weekend, and how are you seeing the relegation battle right now? Let me know in the comments down below. Apart from that, thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next one.